So I've read you some stories today, right? And for obvious reasons, there are no last names and no specific details attached to these. I told you about Avery and her unique situation where she needed a smaller family setting and ended up in an adoptive home. We told you about brothers and sisters who've been able to stay together, and the 6 children who a couple of years ago came in on a freezing night with nothing. And the timing was such that they missed out on a big winter storm, and they ended up in a warm place, and they reside here together today. Those are kind of abstract. They're real stories, and they are about children who are at Palmer Home. Let's get really real for a second. We're raising money for Palmer Home for Children. SuperTalk.fm/Palmer Home. We've got an update that's coming in just a second to show how it's gone so far. Your generosity already is incredible. We've got a long way to go. 9 more hours. We're going until 6 o'clock today. You're going to see a new update in just a second. But let's be real for a second. Drake was telling me a second ago, he was about 9:30 last night at his house. I'm assuming getting ready to go to bed because of the late or the early wake-up call coming this morning, and his phone rang. And there was a person on the other end of the line that said, "We need your guys' help, Palmer Home's help." And you can share more of the details with us, but we're talking about a young man, a young boy, not a young man, a young boy who has been bounced around in a way that we can't really imagine just over the last few days, maybe his entire life, but specifically over the last few days. And he needs a place.
Yeah.
And your team activated last night and this morning, literally out to try to make this happen for this young man. And there's a chance that he will be here today.
That's right.
In the safety of Palmer Home, when safety is what he needs more than anything else.
Yeah. I mean, that just crossed my mind when we were on the break that the things we talk about on our show are real. And we talk about our team and our staff too, and I was realizing last night when I got the call, there were 2 or 3 people already involved, and they're working, and this is often the case, with a family member who has the ability to make this happen.
Okay.
And as she was sharing with us, it's a high-risk zone. You're talking about drugs, you're talking about alcohol, you're talking about guns, you're talking about an environment where a young boy is truly at risk. And so often, the parents or the family members that are involved are caught up in high-risk situations, but in the back of their mind, they know that they need to get this child to a safe place. Yeah. So even if they're caught up in things that are difficult. So we have our own team talking with them at 10:30, 11:30, and it wasn't until 12:30 last night that I got the confirmation that the mother had made arrangements to hopefully connect with us this morning. And so through the night, I slept very happy, knowing at least that we've got a shot at sort of removing this young man from a situation that's tough. And I know, just like we've been talking about, he will come into the care, of a Danny Edmonds, or he'll come into the care of our caregivers and our counselors and people. And his words to our team as he was talking with them, and I think about this for such a young age, but he just said, "I'm just so tired." And when you've been seeing all of this kind of stuff around you, and the lack of certainty or the lack of confidence that you're going to be in a safe place as a child, you and I are grown men. We know what we know the resources we can pull if we have to try to protect ourselves or if we have to try to do something for our family. But you and I were 12 years old once too, and there's only so much you can do when you're watching adults in certain environments. So
my son's 11.
Right. Yeah. So just imagine.
He'll be 12 in November.
Yeah. So just imagine if he were caught up in an inner city situation where he could not get free of that and he had no control over that. He's dependent on us being able to reach out and negotiate and work with a family member and assure them we will care for that child. And so it is our prayer and hope, and the team has been working since last night to try to make this happen. That's why I love the team here. That's why I love what our passion is. I love our mission, and because this isn't just a one-off. This is, we're going to see it again in a month. We're going to see it again in a couple of weeks. But it's what we do, and it's rewarding. But like I said earlier about my own children, we've been blessed.
Yeah.
But, man, if we can make something happen for a child like that. And I see these young children down the hall, and I know they've come from situations like that, and I'm really thrilled that they're going to go out this morning, and they're going to swim later today, and they're going to have a good time. But they're safe, and we can pour into them.
I'm just being honest with you. I mean, it's easy enough for me to say, hey, we'd like for you to give and donate, and these are the stories.
It's a tough one.
But that got a little more personal when I said, hold on.
Yeah.
I got an 11-year-old son.
11-year-old son, yeah. So what if he were there?
And if that little boy gets here today, he's in a safe place.
Yeah.
And you can help make that happen. SuperTalk.fm/Palmer Home, 662-469-5533, over $51,000, nearly $52,000 so far this morning. Thank you so much for your generosity.